I I'm not sure how to start this. I've been sitting in front of my mic for the last hour, just trying to think of what to say. And I want to keep this Fire Emblem related. And so I'm going to talk about Fire Emblem, but there's been a lot of stuff going on the internet, and I kind of want to get this off my chest. There's a lot of bad behavior that's magnified online. And it's kind of all we come to terms with these days. You wake up, you scroll through Twitter, you scroll through Reddit, and you just see chaos. You just see villainy. You just see people getting called out left and right. And it's terrible. I'm not going to sit here and try and defend anyone. That's the last thing I would want to do. But I don't care about any of them. I don't want the conversation to be about any of them. That's it. It's done. They're gone. I want the conversation to be about the rest of the people in this world and how we can inspire sort of growth and resilience within ourselves to not only deal with things like this, but so that we can also avoid it as a whole. And because this channel is Fire Emblem related, I'm going to do it through the lens of Fire Emblem itself. I'm going to try and use examples from the games that we all know and love. It's my favorite series, to drive home a few points that we can sit here and talk about in this day and age when we're all sort of still locked inside during the quarantine and stuff like that. And without addressing anything specific, one of the first examples that comes to mind to me is sort of how you deal with people who are in a moment of weakness. We see this all the time in Fire Emblem. There's tons of characters that go through character arcs where they're in an unstable state. You can talk about Three Houses, where it's the whole Dimitri arc in itself, where he's absolutely going nuts because of betrayal at the hands of someone that he thought he was very close to. But an example that really hammers home to me and is near and dear to my heart, just because this was my first Fire Emblem game, is actually the boat map on Fire Emblem 7. I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but there's a moment, I think it only shows up in Hector's story, in Hector's mode. And Lyn and Hector are sort of at the back of the boat. I think Hector comes out looking for Eliwood, and he bumps into Lyn. And he notices that Lyn isn't happy. She's upset. And that was because they used a pirate ship to travel. And because of Lyn's backstory with bandits, she was very opposed to doing this because they had killed her family and all that kind of thing. And so Hector very brashly, sort of the way he does it, is he basically tells her to grow up. And he tells her to stop, I think it was like stop pouting or something like that. I can't remember the exact words in the script. But he said, this is the only way for us to do this. And I thought you understood. And he basically tells her they had no other option and that this is what they need to do. And she calls him out and says, do you not understand my feelings? And he admits that he knows. And that Eliwood told him about her parents and how they died, and that he doesn't think that these pirates are inherently bad, though. And this is where Lyn sort of explodes on Hector, who probably at this point really doesn't know how she feels. But she explodes and she goes on this rant and she tells him that they killed her entire family and the tribe and how she was the only one who survived, and really paints this very clear image in our heads as a viewer, and I'm sure to him as a listener, of the emotions that she really is going through. And he stays silent throughout this. He doesn't interrupt her. He doesn't cut her off. He doesn't say anything. He sits there and he listens. And around nearing the end of what she's talking about, her story, he turns away from her. And she gets surprised and she asks him why he turns away. And what he says, I think, is very endearing and representative of who he is as a person. And he turns away because he says she's a strong woman and he doesn't think she would want anyone to see her cry, out of respect for her, not only as a person, but as a warrior and as a comrade, as an ally. And I think that's fantastic. That's probably one of the best gestures that you can show someone. It's the utmost level of respect, where you're recognizing that they are so vulnerable that you know that they might not want to be seen as exposed as they are. But yet he didn't leave the situation. He stayed there to show his support. And he even afterwards told her that he knows how she feels because he also lost his parents. Even though it wasn't maybe as tragic as Lynn's loss. I think his parents died to sickness. But losing a parent isn't something that's easy. And he admits that all he wanted to do was cry, but that he didn't want others to see it because of his strength. And so that's why he shows that maybe Lynn is like him and that he's trying to sympathize and relate and empathize with her. And I think this kind of exchange is really something that we as people can learn from. The double-sided respect that both of these people share and the confidence to share their own experiences is very admirable. And note that while they may live in a fantasy, make-believe medieval era, this isn't something that is out of the blue for us. This isn't something that we can't do as well. They're supposedly all around the ages of 18 or 19, so they're definitely younger than I am. They're probably around the age of some of you guys and maybe older than some of the people who are watching. And so we can take inspiration from this. We can learn from this, from a video game, from something in common that we all share. And I just think it's important to point the finger at this and say, hey, when someone has something to say, it's nice if you listen. And you don't have to give them a solution sometimes. Sometimes all they need is someone to listen. And I'm guilty of sometimes trying to provide solutions to people or tell them what they should and shouldn't do. We've all done it. No one's perfect. But being compassionate and being respectful is something that we can always do. There's no excuse not to do that. Another example I want to talk about is actually something more physical, something that you can take action and actually, take matters into your own hands and do. And I refer back to my favorite Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem 4, Genealogy of the Holy War for this. And guys, Fire Emblem was more woke than most people realize back in the 90s. In 1996, they released Genealogy of the Holy War. And one of the instant memories that comes back to me from the story of Fire Emblem 4 is the situation with Lean and Ares in Chapter 7, I think it was. Chapter 7 has a scenario where Lean is dancing for a royal or a leader of some sorts in a castle, and Ares is one of the mercenaries who's defending it. And the leaders in their court are being very creepy towards Lean, who's 17 years old, by the way. And they're much older, and you can actually see it in the cipher card art. Maybe I'll put it up on screen here as a little reference. It's actually a pretty cool reference that they did. And Ares basically tells them to knock it off and back off, and he steps in to protect Lean. But this isn't the only thing that I wanted to talk about, because speaking up for someone who's being abused or harassed is very noble, and it's something that we can learn, especially when you're speaking up to someone who is in a position of power that's higher than you. A lot of things can go wrong. They could have instantly told him to die or be killed or sentenced to death or thrown him in jail, if not for the fact that they were scared of him. And so I realized that this isn't something that's very easy to do. And for people who have the courage to do this and speak up, I commend you immensely. But we can all take inspiration from what follows, which is they move on to the outside of the castle where Ares reunites with the leader of the mercenary group. Mind you, this man is someone who Ares saw as a father figure. He found Ares when he was much younger in a village. Ares was orphaned at this point, for those of you who don't know. And he took care of him. He raised him, and he became a mercenary, and Ares probably holds this man in very high regard. And I think he thought he was doing the good thing by telling Ares to chill out and back off and not get muddied into relationships and stuff like that because it'll be harmful. And I forget what the exact exchange becomes, but it becomes very, very apparent that this man knows that Lean is being targeted by this group of clowns, and that there may be more than her just being the jester for them, and that there's actually some underlying insidious behavior going on. And what Ares says to him is insane. He says something. Actually, I'm going to look this up because I don't want to mince these words. I want to make sure that I'm being completely faithful to the translation here, because I think it's very powerful. Yeah, so here it is. So the man's name is Jabaro, and he says, why would you of all people get wrapped up in a girl like that? Well, it's behind us now, so I suppose we can let it rest. And Ares goes, hang on, what's that supposed to mean? And he laughs and he says, well, right about now, I'd imagine they are ... insinuating that there's some deeper underlying thing going on. And Ares goes, how could you know that and not tell me? And this is where he says, stay out of relationships, you can have your fun, but leave it after that. And Ares goes, I see I've greatly misjudged you, and I'm going back. And he tells him, I don't think so. You know, I don't take kindly to those who disobey my orders, and that goes for you too. And Ares says, I know we've been through a lot together, but I'm cutting our ties here and now. Anyone who tries and stop me can make an acquaintance with the mistletoe. And that just speaks to Ares' level of honor. You know, even as someone who's raised him from basically day one, the moment he saw that this man he wasn't in on it, he wasn't partaking in the behavior, but he was sitting there and letting it happen with knowledge of it. And Ares cut him off immediately, regardless of who it is. There are some things that are unspeakable, and you should speak up. Always say your opinion. Never be afraid of anyone. Because back then, it was much easier for someone to cut off your head and be gone with it. But nowadays, we're all empowered here. People will support you. People will come to your aid. You have more power than you think. And I think we're seeing that a lot online. And so I'm not just talking about matters of abuse or anything in terms of like sexual nature. I'm talking about just in general in your life. Say you want to go into a certain specialty, to go to college, and your parents aren't for it. You're not just going to sit there and to be like, all right, I guess I'm going to go be a doctor, even though it's not what I want to be. No, it's not about that. If you want to do something, then do it. Speak up for yourself. Make a case for yourself. Defend yourself. Be convincing. Have some confidence. Because odds are, people are going to be willing to listen to you. People are going to hear you out, especially your family, your friends, people who are close to you. Talk to them. Help them understand your point of view. If you don't say something, nobody's going to understand what you're going through. Nobody's going to understand your thought process. I'm sure we've all had encounters, me included, with family members or with close friends where we don't agree on something and we've just kept quiet. No, if someone is your friend and they're doing something even as stupid as, oh, hey, I think you're drinking too much Coca-Cola, it's damaging to your health, maybe you should stop. You might think that's dumb, but if you genuinely care for someone's health and it's your friend and they're drinking like 20 cups of Coca-Cola a day and you know it's bad for them, you know, it doesn't hurt to be like, hey, man, you know, I'm concerned for you. I'm worried about you. I care about you. Maybe you should stop or cut down or something like that. And you can use this in any iteration of anything that you think is damaging or anything that you think is beneficial. If you want to inspire confidence in someone who's close to you, be like, hey, I think we should start, exercising more. Or, hey, I think we should all learn to do some public speaking to develop our conversation skills. Or, anything constructive. It doesn't just have to be calling out someone on negative behavior. You can call for people on their positive behaviors and help them improve as well. Regardless of who they are, regardless of how close to you they are. It's the opposite, actually. The closer someone is to you, the more they're probably willing to listen, no matter how offended you think that they might be. And the last example I wanted to touch about was sort of how we idolize and see people, and then they might turn out to be something that they're not. And how it can be really crushing and hurt us. And this is something I'm sure a lot of people are going through. A lot of us have watched or followed people on the internet or even in the movie industry or any of that kind of stuff who have done some bad things. And we might feel betrayed, and we might feel hurt, and we might feel resentful, and that's okay. You know, you're okay. You're entitled to have these feelings, but it's important for us to move on. And if we don't move on, it's only going to hurt us more. It's not going to hurt them. They don't care about us. Odds are they don't even know we exist. And one of these examples I take from Fire Emblem is again from Fire Emblem 7. It's actually Zephiel. Zephiel is in both Blazing Sword and Sword of Seals, which are 7 and then 6. 6 came out first, where Zephiel was clearly evil from the start. His mind was warped. He wanted the dragons to take over the earth and annihilate humanity, which, I don't know, maybe looking at what's going on now with humanity, maybe he has a point. I don't know. You know, maybe. But what I'm trying to get to here is in Fire Emblem 7, Zephiel is seen as this young, valiant, innocent kid who wants nothing but good in the world. He's nice to his sister. He's nice and polite to his mother. He adores his father. He idolizes his father beyond everything else. He shows him nothing but love and respect. And all his father does is shun him because he's jealous of him. Because Zephiel is everything that he is not. And his father even goes to the lengths of trying to get him killed, which is a chapter we play and we save him from certain death. Now, Zephiel grows up and he learns about this. And it shatters him. It breaks him as a human being. As it would to any of us. If someone you trusted and someone you loved who was so close to you does that to you, of course you're going to go crazy. You know, any of us would. When I was in high school, I had someone who I thought was a very close friend of mine who broke my trust. And it wasn't easy going through that, knowing that I would have to go to school every day and see this person and feel hurt on the inside. And I don't want to make this too personal because I don't like to get into too personal of an example, but I think it helps you make a connection when someone makes it a little bit more personal. So that's why I touched on it a little bit. But back to Fire Emblem, Zephiel has become this person who is driven, not mad, but almost grief-stricken by what someone who is his biological father would do to him, that he ends up going for revenge. And he kills his father and assumes his position as King of Bern. But did that revenge help him in any way? Great. He got his revenge. His father's dead. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing that people get the justice that's coming to them. There should always be justice in any situation. But it's not guaranteed to fix the inner problems. It's not going to erase your past. And Zephiel never erased the past. He never got past it. All he was able to see after that was the evil within humans. He was never able to see the good again. He was never able to move forward with it. And all he was obsessing over was eradicating the human race. All because of what he went through. Now, I know what we see might not be as extreme or might be on varying degrees. And I'm not saying everyone that has a problem in life is going to go and eradicate humankind. As much as I like to joke about Arvis did nothing wrong and that, you know, everyone deserves to burn via Val Flame. That's just me joking around, maybe. But the point is, we need to move on. We need to better ourselves. We need to say, okay, justice has been served, and I'm good with this. And now we need to focus on ourselves. And I don't want people to take this the wrong way. I'm not trying to, downplay victims or blame anyone for coming forward. Not at all. It's the exact opposite. It's me trying to empower good change within people. Because I care. I genuinely do. I wouldn't put this video out if I didn't. I would have written a script, or I would have posted on Twitter and hid behind some corporate language. I'm doing this completely unscripted. As much as it might seem that I'm reading off something, I'm really not. I'm just talking from the heart. I'm trying to keep it pure. I'm trying to send out a good message to people. If this, for one person, inspires someone to go and improve themselves and better themselves and inspire good change, I probably used the word inspire 50 times by now, then this is a good thing. And one of the easiest things we can do is start developing our confidence in ourselves. What I see online, I've interacted with my fair share of communities. I've been on Reddit, I've been on Twitter, I've been on message boards, you name it, I've been there. And a lot of things that I see is a lot of people being proud of the fact that, oh, I'm an introvert. Oh, I'm a weeb. Oh, I'm socially awkward. Sure, you might be. And you might be proud of that. And you know what? Sometimes I'm an introvert too. I just want to kick back at home, relax, watch my anime, go crazy about the finale of Tower of God, and act like a total nerd, you know? But that doesn't stop you from being able to develop your confidence and your social skills. And I'll give an example as to what I mean. This pandemic that we have going on right now, the coronavirus. Everyone is going crazy trying to find a cure for the coronavirus. But even more important than that, they're trying to find a vaccine. Why? Because they're trying to vaccinate everyone to be protected against this virus so that if it hits them, they can fight back. We don't want people to get the virus and then give it to more people and then more people and then it just multiplies and goes crazy like we already saw it did, and it may continue to do so. We want to prevent it from happening in the first place. And so for us as people, if we can build ourselves, we can prevent ourselves from being taken advantage of or being put in situations that are bad for us or being weak and vulnerable, either physically or mentally. I see a lot of content creators who suffer from their comments sections. It's a big meme on the internet, bad comments on YouTube. It's true. I have a video that has a lot of views, and I made a sarcastic joke that didn't go over well. And it's a shame that some people will take that and go to the comments section, and the only thing they'll do is they'll vilify you for one small joke that you've made, and they'll forget all the hard work that you've done. It's hard sometimes reading the comments. And we're people. We're not immune to, the people say sticks and stones and all that kind of stuff, but it gets to people. But we shouldn't let that get to us. Because at the end of the day, this is someone who's talking from behind a computer screen. And if we can build ourselves mentally to fortify ourselves and to go, you know what? There's 5 people who said some bad things about this video. There's about 100 other people who said some good things about that. And focus on the positive. That will help you build your confidence. You have a video with 100,000 views. 5 comments are bad, 900 are good. There's more likes on the video than there are comments. The people are subscribing at an obnoxious rate. Or maybe you're getting 2 or 3 subscribers. Focus on that. Let that be your confidence builder. And this is just me talking from a content creator perspective because I'm on a platform where this is what I do. But you can apply this to anywhere in life. Focus on building your confidence. And one way you can do this is by, find something that makes you unique. A lot of people want to say, I'm not special. Yes, you are. You are special. You just haven't found what makes you special yet. The thing about humanity is everyone has the potential for infinite growth. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong. When I was in high school, I was awkward in the beginning of high school. I didn't come out of my shell until I was a junior. And then I started looking for ways to better myself. I learned how to speak in front of people when previously giving a presentation would cause my hands to shake violently. I still remember when I won a science award and they asked me to present in front of the entire school. I was sitting there completely frozen and reading off a piece of paper. And now I can talk in front of a mic about social issues with minimal stuttering and extreme confidence. It's doable. Everyone can do it. We were all that awkward kid in high school or middle school at some point. And you can grow out of it. You can do more. And if this is what you want to be, that's fine. But it's not going to help you become a stronger person. And I think that's what I really want people to do. I hate just seeing people not maximize their potential. I guess I'm just an idealist in every way, shape, and form. I don't even know how long this video is. Should I even post this? It feels like I'm just going on trying to talk about situations that doesn't really befit a Fire Emblem channel. I don't know. If you guys like this, let me know. I try not to get too personal or too deep with things. I try to keep things fun on this channel, but given what's been going on these days, it's really been bothering me, and it's hard for me to stay quiet and put my words really where they matter and hit home. So yeah, find something, do something with yourself. Just don't just, we spend hours and hours scrolling through Twitter, scrolling through Reddit, scrolling through Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Don't say you don't have time. You have time. You just choose to allocate your time unwisely. Spend an hour learning how to write an essay of sorts. A lot of what I do on my channel is scripted content. Spend an hour writing something out and then send it to someone for feedback and tell them to be brutally honest. Sometimes honesty is going to hurt you. But when someone's honest with you in terms of their feedback, that's going to give you the power to grow. Be honest with people who ask you for feedback. A lot of people ask me for feedback on stuff. And if I don't like something, I'll say, hey, I think this is terrible. I disagree with it. This is why. And this is how you think I should fix it. Or this is how I think you should change it. Because just telling someone something is bad is like, great, fantastic. You told me it's bad. I don't know what to do with this now. Or if you're going to be just a yes man and tell someone, oh, hey, I really like this, when you didn't really give it the time of day, or you just don't want to hurt their feelings, that's not going to benefit them. Ask for honest feedback and give honest feedback. That's one important thing to do. You could also go learn to play an instrument. Not everyone can acquire it, but they're out there. If you can afford to buy an instrument of sorts, go for it. Learn to channel your energy through. Piano channels are huge on YouTube. Learn to play the piano. Cover some video game music. I certainly don't see enough Fire Emblem music covered online. I'd love to see people cover it. If you're still younger and you've always wanted to get into sports, or even if you're older and you wanted to get into sports, it's never too late. Go join a gym, find a friend who wants to do it, or do it alone. You don't even have to go to the gym. Buy Ring Fit Adventure. You can play video games and be a weeb at home and introverted and work out. And you can do it for 20 minutes, half an hour a day. Cut out half an hour of that Twitter time. Cut out half an hour of that Reddit time. Cut out half an hour of watching my videos. I'm okay with that. If you're using your time to improve yourself, that's fine by me. Don't watch my content. Go focus on you. You can learn to talk. Learn to express yourself. Even if it's in VC. A lot of people are shy to do it in VC over Discords or whatever. Do it. Ask a friend. Be like, hey, I just want to, or not, ask a stranger. Be like, hey, I want to talk about something. Can you listen to me talk about something for 10 minutes? And once you're comfortable in front of one person, invite 2 people. Once you're comfortable in front of 2, invite 4. When you're uncomfortable in front of 4, invite 10. Maybe when you're comfortable in front of an entire group, put it on YouTube for people to leave you bad comments in the comments section. I'm sure I'm going to get a ton on this video. The point is to do something. Stagnation is never the key. You always want to keep moving forward. You always want to improve yourself and better yourself. And by doing this, you will build your personality. You will build your mental toughness. You will build your physical toughness. And I'm not just saying go learn a martial art. That might actually not be a bad idea, learning a martial art as well. But if you build yourself into this persona that people cannot easily exploit, that people cannot see as weak, you won't get into bad situations. People won't dare mess with you. People with strong personalities sometimes come off as arrogant or detestable or unlikable, or some people will say, you're very intimidating. Being intimidating can be a good thing. Whether you're a guy or a girl, I've been told on countless times I'm intimidating. One of my very good female friends, one of the first things they told me before I met her was like, be careful. This girl she's really strong. She's very intimidating. And that didn't bother me, because that's fine. If you are a strong personality and you know who you are, people will not mess with you, and they'll know what their boundaries are. And that'll help you from getting involved in sticky situations. So I think that's all I have to say. I might have rambled on for too long. I hope this helped someone. I hope it makes sense. I'm really trying to do something good here. So if you're going to go and nitpick the Fire Emblem situations that I pointed out and be like, well, this series actually has this bad thing and has this bad thing, this isn't the place. This isn't the time. I appreciate your view and your comment for the traction, but if you're just going to leave an insensitive comment, don't do it. Take a step back. Think to yourself, is this really something constructive that I'm doing with my time here? Or is this person actually trying to send a message that is doing good for the world or for the people that are watching. I don't even know what footage I'm going to use for this. Yeah. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this helps you guys move forward. And I will read all the comments. And I can't promise I'll reply to all of them. I'm going to try. But if I can help in any way and you would like to express yourself in the comments section, this is a safe place to do so. And I will more than welcome any questions or comments that you guys might have. Anyways, this has been going on for too long. I'm back. I know I took June off, but I'm back. I've got a nice video that I'm working on. I'll actually leave a teaser on screen for people who've made it this far in the video of some kind of things that I'm messing with. It's not the actual video, but I'm learning how to edit some new things. I'll just put it that way. And I got a package today from Japan that I'm really excited to show you guys on camera soon. So keep a lookout. There's more content coming. I'm not dead. I'm here. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.